The United Kingdom is standing at a dangerous geopolitical and economic crossroads today, as a series of breaking developments threaten to destabilize the nation's recovery. Within the last few hours, the diplomatic, carefully managed facade between London and Washington has completely fractured. Prime Minister Keir Starmer has taken the unprecedented step of publicly calling out the United States president after a weekend of escalating threats that have left British officials in a state of high alert. The shift in tone is being described as a calculated gamble, moving from quiet diplomacy to open confrontation as the threat of a massive 25% tariff on European allies looms over the British economy. This sudden hostility from across the Atlantic centers on a bizarre and aggressive ultimatum regarding international territories and security alliances, leaving the British government with almost no room for maneuver. At the heart of this international firestorm is the escalating row over the Chagos Islands and the sudden American refusal to drop trade barriers that could cripple British manufacturing and exports. For months, the administration in Downing Street has attempted to build a pragmatic relationship with the White House, but that strategy blew up spectacularly this morning during a heated session in the House of Commons. The Prime Minister's forceful rejection of what he termed imperialist ambitions has signaled the end of the softly approach, but the cost of this defiance is yet to be seen. With retaliatory tariffs now officially on the table, the risk of a full-scale trade war is no longer a distant possibility, but a looming reality that could define the British economy for the next decade. While the government battles on the international stage, a domestic economic shock has just been confirmed by official figures that have blindsided the markets. Inflation in the United Kingdom has risen for the first time in 5 months, hitting a rate of 3.4% and overshooting almost every major economic forecast. This sudden uptick is being driven by sharp increases in tobacco duty and a surprising spike in airfares, but the underlying data reveals a much more persistent pressure on food and services. For millions of families already struggling with the cost of living, this news is a devastating blow that suggests the era of high prices is far from over. The Treasury's promise that 26 would be the year Britain turns a corner is now being met with deep skepticism as the Bank of England faces renewed pressure to hold interest rates higher for longer. The political fallout from these economic figures is already intensifying. The government, which saw its poll ratings drop significantly over the last year, is now facing a potential backbench rebellion over its legislative agenda. In the corridors of Westminster, there is a growing sense of unease as members of Parliament prepare to debate controversial changes to accountability laws and employment reforms. Critics argue that the current trajectory is leaving the retail and hospitality sectors vulnerable to a financial squeeze that could trigger a wave of business failures by the spring. With the minimum wage set to rise and staffing costs already at record highs, industry leaders are warning that the window for a soft landing is rapidly closing. Adding to the sense of national tension is the emergence of new challenges regarding border security and internal justice. The Home Office has confirmed that the number of irregular arrivals reached near record levels over the past 12 months, sparking a fresh wave of controversy over the effectiveness of current immigration policies. At the same time, the legal system is preparing for high-profile trials that reach back into the country's most painful historical chapters, bringing long-standing grievances back to the forefront of the national conversation. As Parliament prepares to debate the legacy of past conflicts and the future of assisted dying legislation, the social fabric of the country is being tested by debates that are as much about morality as they are about the law. The volatility is not limited to politics and the economy. The Met Office has issued urgent weather warnings as a cold snap from Scandinavia brings snow and ice to large parts of the country, threatening to disrupt transport networks already strained by industrial uncertainty. This convergence of diplomatic crisis, economic instability, and domestic unrest has created a perfect storm for the government. While international partners look on with concern, the British public is left navigating a landscape where the cost of a weekly shop continues to climb, and the nation's most important international alliance appears to be hanging by a thread. Every move made in the next 48 hours will be critical in determining whether the United Kingdom can find a path to stability or if it is heading toward a protracted period of national emergency.